For this sketch here, what we're going to do is concentrate on sketching, first of all, f of x equals cosine x, then worry about the translation next. All right, so our amplitude is 1, our period is going to be 2 pi over any n value that sits out the front of the brackets, and there isn't one, so we're just going to say the period is 2 pi. The scale is going to be 2 pi on 4, which is pi on 2. Now notice that here what we're going to have to do is shift pi on 3. So this scale is not quite going to work. We just need to manipulate this to suit us. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is actually multiply this by 3 and multiply this by 3. So the scale in fact is going to be 3 pi on 6, and I'm going to produce an on 6 scale. Now why did I choose that? Well, actually, if I multiply that by 2 and multiply that by 2, the translation is going to be 2 pi on 6 or pi on 3. It's the same thing. So I'm going to translate 2 pi on 6, which will now match the scale. Right, so the next part of this will involve us drawing a Cartesian plane up, noting that we're going to go to 2 pi, and we've got an on 6 scale, so we need to make 12 markings. So just keep that in mind when we put them in. So we've got pi on 6, 2 pi on 6, which is pi on 3, 3 pi on 6, which is pi on 2, 4 pi on 6, which is 2 pi on 3, 5 pi on 6, and pi. Okay, that's 7 pi on 6, 8 pi on 6, which is 4 pi on 3, 9 pi on 6, which is 3 pi on 2, 10 pi on 6, which is 5 pi on 3, 11 pi on 6, and finally 2 pi. Right, so it's the cosine function. So we're going to go 1, -1 for the amplitude. What does cosine do? It typically would start high, so it's going to start there. Now our scale is 3 pi on 6, so every 3 pi on 6 we're going to put a key point. Right, so this one here is 3 pi on 6. It's sometimes easier to sketch with an unsimplified scale marking there, but yeah, so that's going to be 3 pi on 6, so that's going to be there. And then it's going to be 6 pi on 6, or pi. Then it's going to be this one here, which is 9 pi on 6, finally finishing up at 2 pi, which makes complete sense because it matches the period, which is 2 pi. Right, now, let's take care of the translation. So what this does is it's going to move pi on 3 to the right, or what we'll say is 2 pi and 6 to the right. Okay, so it's going to move 2 to the right. So let's change our color to, I don't know, violet, right? And that point there will move over to here. That point will move to there. So we're going just 2 pi and 6 more. That point there will be going to there. And that point there will be going to there, which moves this one out of domain. Right, now what we'll do is we'll just sketch this cycle, okay, and see what happens from there. All right, so that's what we've got, and what's going to happen here is it's going to come up again and not quite make it to back to 1, okay? And what it will do here is come down, but not quite make it to 0. Right, so here's why they got you to do this, is they've got you to calculate the endpoints. So if I do f of 0 equals the cosine of negative pi on 3. Right, so negative pi on 3 means down here, cosine is positive 60, that is going to be a half. So this endpoint here is, when x is 0, y is a half. Right, what about over here at 2 pi? All right, so we're going to do f of 2 pi equals cosine of 2 pi, which is 6. I'm just going to write it out, 2 pi, take away pi on 3. I was going to try and do a common denominator at the same time. cosine of times 3, 6 pi on 3, take away pi on 3, which is the cosine of 5 pi on 3. Right, so where is 5 pi on 3? So 6 pi on 3, here's 5 pi on 3 here. Cosine will be there. Okay, so not there at all on the unit circle. I just had to think about that for a second. We're at 5 pi on 3, which is 6 pi on 3, so it's down here, which is also a half. So you can tell my sort of scale is a little bit off here. This one here should have sort of gone to around about here. So you go back with your rubber. I think I've got a rubber on this new version of this program. I can remove just that part there to improve the shape, and then redraw this part of it here, which is going to be 2 pi comma half as well. All right, so there's how we sketch when the scale doesn't match the horizontal translation, is we basically just change both of them so it's convenient to sketch. All right, let me know how you go with that.